Even when Max Verstappen isn't winning, there isn't a real fight for the win. Carlos Sainz showed that with his brilliant win in Australia. It was nice to hear a different anthem and to see 2 Ferraris and a McLaren on the podium. The Italian anthem hits differently anyway, but after hearing the Dutch one so often, it was extra special. I want to show you a way to make every race of the rest of the season extra special. Formula 1 won't be boring if you do the 5 following things. I'm Wimbo, here's 3 seconds to leave a like. 5. Overall support. To be properly invested in the sport, it's nice to wish the best for every single driver. There are 20 of them and they are all special. Of course, it's completely normal to have your favorites. And it's quite normal to like certain other drivers a bit less. There are drivers I like less, but that has more to do with their fan base. It's just that if you root for a driver who has had bad luck for a long time, the race gets something extra. That's why I was so happy for Carlos Sainz. He won while 2 weeks before he missed the race because his appendix needed to be removed. With the Alpine being terrible, I'm hoping that they start scoring some points. And I didn't always like Esteban Ocon with his fights with his teammates. I'm hoping that Bottas will have a quick pit stop the next race, like below 3 seconds instead of a minute or 2. What about a Lando Norris win? That would be awesome too. There are so many different characters out there, it's easy to find more than a handful to cheer on. Let me know in the comments who you root for. What's something cool you'd like to see happen in the rest of the season? 4. Watch the pre-shows. I'm a big fan of F1 TV. I met some of the presenters in Zandvoort and in real life they are just as energetic and nice. Now if you're from the UK, you're probably stuck with Sky Sports F1. That doesn't have to be a bad thing. I like Karun Chandok for instance, and the commentary from Brundle and Crofty is great. To this day I get goosebumps when I see an edit of the 2021 season final.
Mercedes not happy, Red Bull will be delighted. They have shared a brilliant championship battle, but the championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch in 2021. Max Verstappen, for the first time ever, is champion of the world.
Okay, where was I? The benefit of these shows before and after the race is that they'll talk about every little story or non-story that the Formula 1 weekend provides. Knowing all these narratives will give each race a bit of a flavor. Whether it's the bother at Red Bull, the mood at Mercedes with Lewis Hamilton, or Logan Sargent getting more and more under pressure to perform, they are all fun and interesting things to keep an eye on. They have interviews with drivers and team principals which give you an insight into what they're like. Fred Vasseur is always laughing and making jokes, while Toto Wolff does more PR. James Vowles can sell sand in the Sahara, and Christian Horner, well, I don't know what to think of Horner anymore. If you sit down without absorbing all this, then of course some of the races will be dull. If you inform yourself well, then every team and every driver has their own little storyline to follow. That's why I love the Will Buxton grid walk so much. He reminds us what's going on with each car and each driver. It's the details that make the sport, not just who wins. And how a driver wins counts too. Not every race is a Grand Slam for Max. 3. Make predictions. There are loads of competitions and leagues going on all over the world where you can create your own team or make predictions about the races this season. This is a great way to interact with other fans, and the best part is that it gives every race a different feel. I bet a lot of people had Max Verstappen as the winner in Australia, but that didn't happen due to an issue with a brake. It's not easy to predict where drivers will finish, because so much happens during a race. Some drivers disappoint like Daniel Ricciardo, some do much better than expected, like Lance Stroll. Nobody predicted that both Mercedes cars would be out at the end of the race, when they had a DNF in Australia. A double DNF never happens to Mercedes. The last time I can remember was a nice race in Spain 2016. I usually look at how the teams perform at the free practice and then I slot the drivers in that order. But that makes a boring list. So I mix them all up a little and then I have them all wrong. I don't care. I had fun. So it's clear that if you make a little time to look at the free practice results and do a prediction, the race will be much more fun. See how much wheel knowledge you have. 2. Lower expectations. I understand that everyone involved in F1 likes to hype up races. Every single session, every qualifying and every race is built up to be a banger. The problem with that is that it doesn't always live up to the hype and then people complain. Funny enough, the race in Las Vegas last season was hyped up so much that everyone hated it before we even raced there. In the end, it was a good race, and it even had Max singing Viva Las Vegas.
Outstanding enough.
Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas.
If we all realize that not every season is like the legendary 2021 season, then this season isn't that bad. It's quite common that one team and one driver dominates in this technical sport. The development race isn't called a race for nothing. That drives the sport more than the individual performance of a driver. Unfortunately, with the way the sport is being promoted, the driver becoming world champion is deemed more important than winning the Constructors' Trophy. This is strange because from what I've gathered from interviews, the car is like 80% and the performance of the athlete is 20%. If we all go into each race a little bit more neutral, just looking forward to seeing those beautiful cars doing their laps and the teams doing their utmost to get the best strategy, then even a race with less action can be super enjoyable. A three-way fight to the finish didn't happen very often when another driver was dominating either. I have to say that last season had some banger wet races that people have forgotten about because the same driver kept winning. What was your favorite race in 2023? 1. Be positive. If we keep repeating how boring a race was and keep being negative, then that will make things even worse. It will make everyone focus on everything that isn't right. Well, there are so many things that are better than ever. Content creators, like myself, are guilty of this too. We get told that drama sells and that you need to lure fans on YouTube in by enhancing the negativity. So a video with a title like F1 is in big trouble will get loads of views. But in doing so, it will influence the mood of the fans too. There are content creators out there who are biased and make videos called Why the Verstappen dominance feels different than anything else. And that's because they root for Lewis Hamilton. How dare they make a video with an agenda against Max? I would never do such a thing about another driver. So when pundits, F1 journalists and content creators keep hammering on about Formula 1 being dull and in danger, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you keep going on about something negative long enough, it will eventually happen. I don't want that. I want to see tweets on Monday morning with people yelling, "It's race week!" I want to see clips of previous races on that track. I want to know statistics and useful information. We all love the sport. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video. I want everyone to stop moaning and enjoy the pinnacle of motorsport. We are in a blessed position to watch it all and enjoy it all. If you made it this far and you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. Take care now. Doei doei.